Epic Dumpster Bear. Oh, okay, stay with me on this. I know most of you out there are probably going, ugh, another one of these games? And you probably already checked out this review, but hang on! This is far from a garbage indie title. It's actually an okay game. First off, I gotta tell you that this game was sent to me from the publisher to review, so I just want to disclose that. Now, this is a platformer about a bear who's getting revenge on a corporation who has destroyed his forest. So they've made this bear survive on the remnants of old food that was put into dumpsters. Hence the name Dumpster Bear. And I guess it's epic because of the adventure. Yeah, it's a pretty stupid setup. However, it is sure fun to see the cutscenes of this craziness come to life. I kind of have the feeling that this game is heavily influenced by the Donkey Kong Country series, especially the later editions of it. You have 2 hearts to start out with. If you lose 1 heart, you can get it back at the dumpster checkpoints in the middle of every normal level. I kind of like the art style of the bear. It was realistic, but not really, because this bear really loved to run on 2 legs. There were interesting animations, like when you had to do a belly flop onto the target and it ended in a splat, or when you had to fall from a great distance and you land in sand. The bear doesn't just get up and keep running. It takes quite a few seconds for that bear to shake it off from such a great fall. It was just an interesting character trait that wasn't necessary, yet it was kind of endearing. The game is difficult, but not unfair. Now, I thought the controls were okay. I wish the jumping controls were a little bit tighter, especially for a platformer and where you have to jump very quickly, very fast. But you get used to the controls fairly quickly. A platformer is only as good as the levels that you can explore, and there are 7 worlds with over 70 levels to finish. Some of these levels are not required, as they might just be secret levels or bonus levels. You choose the levels where you want to go on the map screen. As you can see, there are many different detours you can take to the goal of the boss of each world, but most of these levels are optional. My main issue with pretty much every level I played was that it didn't know when to quit. The levels were just too long. They had some clever ideas in the beginning of a stage, but then they just repeat it with little tweaks like 3 or 4 more times. It felt like instead of keeping up with the good ideas, they just wanted to reuse the same one. If it was done in a different way, it would be fine, but doing the same jumping puzzle multiple times can be really tedious. Now, to change up the action a little, in some of the levels, they actually equip the bear with different options, like bombs or wings that he can fly. That's right, you get to see a flying bear. And you don't even need a can of Red Bull to do it. Or on a much grosser note, they give him fish. And that gives him the ability to double jump because he farts his way up. I mean, come on, fish? Why not just give the poor bear a can of chili? It makes a little more sense. It's a bit of a gross turn for this game, but at least they were trying to be creative. At the end of every level, they have you fall on a target. The closer you get to the target, the more points you get. Every time you get a total of 100 points, you earn a Wiiviewer stamp. The targets were not always easy to hit. They often put bumpers to change the angle of your fall, so they made it a little bit challenging to always hit your target. At the end of each world, there was a boss fight. The boss fights were very different and difficult. You get unlimited continues, so eventually you will beat them. But to make things a bit easier, you can buy a 3rd heart for your character for only 50 coins. These coins are scattered throughout the levels, so they're easy to get. If you die when you have the 3rd heart, you don't get to keep that 3rd heart for the level. It just goes away and the money that you paid for it. So it is a bit of a gamble. Epic Dumpster Bear is quite an interesting name for a normal platformer. Graphically, it looked pretty good for a low-cost indie game, and it controlled okay, but the level designs had issues with padded-out gameplay. They're currently asking for $9.99, and that's not out of line. The problem is the gameplay is very average. There are, though, a lot of levels to play. But if they had just tightened up those levels designs, it would have totally been worth the full price. Right now I say when this goes on sale, this is one game you shouldn't trash. Well, that's my review of Epic Dumpster Bear. Why don't you check out my last review of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, or my classic review of Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. Like always, you can follow me at Twitter at Wiiviewer. I thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe.